What's up, guys? It's the Casual Cutter, and it's 2019. Craziness. It's actually Wednesday, January 3rd, 2019, and I just realized I never did a year in review video on the knives that I've picked up in 2018. So, better late than never, right? Today's video, I'm just going to go over the knives that I still have that I purchased this past year, and kind of just show you a little bit about each one, go over each knife, and tell you what I like about it. We'll do a quick one. We'll try to make it quick. There's about 15 knives here, so we'll get into it. We'll see how it goes. First thing you might notice is I have this new backdrop. I had said in a previous video that I'd try to spice things up. My YouTube channel is still relatively new. I think it's only been out for about a month or two. And, the Casual Cutter in general just started in October. I went back into my Instagram and double-checked. And, yeah, October 8th, I started the Casual Cutter just as a way to show my journey into the knife world. I just got back into knives this past year, so just figured I'd have a way to share my stuff, my thoughts, my lessons that I've learned, and here we are. So let's get into it. This knife right here is the knife that I started 2018 having and being pretty much my only EDC folding knife, and that's a Kershaw Knockout. It's assisted. If you're into that sort of thing, it's got the speed safe assist. And it's actually not a bad knife at all. It's got aluminum scales, this hardened steel lock bar that's knocked out, hence the name. You can flip it or use thumb stud. So, it's a decent knife. It's a cool knife. And, I just decided to get back into the world of folding knives and kind of see what I can get into to upgrade this. And I got hooked. First knife I bought of 2018 was a Boker F3. I no longer have that, and there's a few knives I've bought that I've either sold or traded to fund other things, but the Boker F3 just wasn't really my style. And there were a few other ones. There were a few duplicates I had that I sold or traded, but these are the ones that survived. And one of the very first ones after that Quaken that I bought is this ZT0630. This one right here is outfitted with an aftermarket green micarta scale. This scale was made by a guy who goes by Suingab. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly or if that's his real name, but over on Instagram it's Suingab. He has a website. He makes custom scales out of all different types of material, carbon fiber, you name it, and he does awesome work. So I thought this scale just kind of fits this knife, and the ZT0630 just appealed to me in general because of its blade shape. It has the wave feature, which people either love or hate. It definitely kind of looks ugly just sitting up there on the top, but it functions beautifully. When the knife is in your pocket, you pull it out, catches the wave, and it opens up just as fast as pulling a fixed blade out. So, the ZT0630, I still love it. It's a beast of a knife. Titanium frame lock, S35 VN steel. Opens with thumb disc or the wave opener. It rides on phosphorus bronze washers, and it's just a smooth, awesome, larger knife that I see no reason to get rid of and to hang on to for the long haul. So that's the first one there. One of the second knives I picked up this past year, is the Spyderco PM2. I had never owned a Spyderco. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about, so I picked one up. Because if there's something I've learned over the past year, it's that you can't formulate an opinion on something, a true opinion on something, unless you get it in hand. So Picked up a PM2. This one is in S110V, and it also has aftermarket scales on it by Aramis out of Russia. Popular scale maker, especially for Spyderco's. These are his Grand model. They're contoured, they're a little thicker than factory, and the knife just feels awesome in the hand. PM2, you know, it's kind of an icon in the knife world. Compression lock is awesome. Spider hole, you know, not really classically a beautiful knife by standards, I would say, but once you see what this thing can do and what most Spyderco's can do, you kind of get an appreciation and they appear more attractive, in my opinion. Super slicey, just fun to fidget with. It's a really great EDC knife. That full flat grind may not be the prettiest thing, but it slices like no other. So PM2 stays, it survived, and it's with me into 2019. I also picked up a Para 3, which is kind of just like a smaller version of the PM2. This one's been modified. I did my acid etch splatter finish on it. This one's an M390. It's the Bento Box Sprint Run. It originally came with these Smurf Blue scales, which I just didn't like for EDC, and I bought this knife to kind of fit into my carry rotation. So I went with just some factory black G10 scales, which I'm going to probably upgrade soon. I torched the hardware, and I did the acid etch. This one's also got an MXG deep carry clip, which is awesome for being a little less conspicuous. As you might know, the Para 3 normally rides a lot higher than the PM2 actually, so I think the deep carry clip was a must. But yeah, Para 3 still with me. Para 2, they're great knives, and I see no reason to get rid of them, so they stay. This next knife is actually the first, I would say, expensive knife that I purchased, and it's the Giant Mouse GM5. Get some crud on it. GM5 by Giant Mouse is LMAX steel, titanium frame lock. It's got these awesome blue accents, backspacer, clip, and pivot collars. This is limited to 300 units with another 100 in Pirate Edition, which is all like a DLC coated, darkened up, and with bronze accents. But another awesome knife. It's one of the few knives that I could actually Spidey flick effortlessly. Yeah, this thumb opener, thumb hole. These are designed by Jesper Voxnaes and Jens Anzo, as you might be able to tell by the style, but awesome milling pattern on the scales. Just a really cool knife, a really classy knife, and yeah, this is number 254 out of 300 of the standard run. So GM5, definitely a keeper. I just like the knife, and it actually got me into Giant Mouse knives in general. That was kind of my gateway knife. And the next knife I got was the Giant Mouse Ace Biblio. You might have seen a lot of this knife recently, both in my Instagram feed as well as a lot of other people's. They just came out with a carbon fiber scale option, but I opted for the green canvas micarta, which I kind of have a thing for now. And this guy comes in M390 steel. Of course, the green canvas micarta scales. It's a liner lock, and it's a flipper as well as thumb deployment. Rides on ball bearings, ball bearing pivot system, and I just love this knife. I did a quick little review consensus on it a week or two ago that's up on my channel, and I mentioned that it's probably my pick for overall value knife of the year. You get premium materials, great fit and finish, and it's just an awesome everyday carry knife. So yeah, that one survived and stays with me in the collection. Let's see. Well, while we're on Giant Mouse, I also picked up the new Ace Iona, which is their newest knife. Also an M390 blade steel, and it's just it's really a great lightweight EDC option. I would say if you're in the market for a lighter, smaller, everyday carry knife like the Benchmade Bug Out, for example, this is something you should consider as well. Under $100, brand new, $99 for this guy. Comes in blue FRN scales or the OD green that you see here. And yeah, M390 blade steel. Thumb stud deployment. The thumb studs are removable as well if you live in a country where you can't have a locking knife with one-handed deployment. But this rides on phosphorus bronze washers, and the action is super snappy. Just push right up on that thumb stud and it rockets out. And I carry this quite often. It's a great knife. I see no reason to get rid of it, so it stays. Another similar knife that I got this year, that's actually pretty similar to the Iona, is the Ontario Rat 2. I heard a lot of hype about this knife. I heard that it was the best budget knife ever made. $25. Comes in either AUS 8 steel or D2. The AUS 8 version that you see here runs about $20 to $25 depending. And the D2 version is about $40, I want to say. But I scooped up the AUS 8 just to see what it was all about. This one is heavily modified. I mean, I stippled the scales and dyed them. I did the acid etch to the blade. So they don't look like this out of the box, but this is also on phosphorus bronze washers. And it feels like it's assisted. I mean, how they get that type of action in a $25 knife, I don't know. Magic, voodoo, maybe they held a seance to the Dark Lord of Knives or something like that. I don't know. But Ontario Knife and Tool Company out of Canada, they know how to make a budget knife. I carry this thing a lot. I carry it around the house in the yard. Dig stuff with it. I mean, it's a beater. And AUS 8 is not the best for edge retention, but I have a cami sharpener, so I don't really care. It's easy to sharpen, and yeah. What can I say? $25, and it's an awesome knife. So it stays. Another budget knife I picked up is the CRKT Pilar. This one has a relatively new brass scale on it from Flytanium. Not sure if I like the brass scale yet. I'm hoping it'll patina up. But if I don't like it, I could always take it off. This one I also acid etched and stone washed, played around with it. It's modified. But the Pilar is a great knife. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I modify them. I post them a lot. They're super ergonomic. They're inexpensive. Again, between $20 and $25 for one of these. And they just work. Designed by Jesper Voxnaes, manufactured by CRKT. Super ergonomic, small EDC knife. You can't go wrong. There's no reason for me to get rid of it. And I'll probably buy more of them. So that one's here to stay as well. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything. Okay. This crazy thing is the Something Obscene Company Nemily 2.0 folding cleaver. And it's actually one of my favorite knives. Got this as a gift for my birthday. And it's a flipper on ceramic bearings, titanium scales, limited to 100 units in this finish, and then it comes in 100 units in an all black finish and 100 units in a black and gray finish. But it's a limited production knife from Something Obscene Company, manufactured by We Knives for the limited production run, and it's super smooth, rides on bearings, like I said, drop shut. If I can break the detemp ball, there it is. I mean, the thing is just a beast. I got the Damascus clip on mine. And this is also S35 VN steel, titanium frame lock bearings. It's not for everybody, but it's cool as hell. So this is permanent and survived 2018, obviously. Then we have the Boker F3. The Boker F3 is based on the Vox F3 Custom, which is one of my all-time grail knives. And I had to have one since I can't have an F3 right now. Titanium frame lock. This one is an S30V steel. The newer ones come in S35 VN. But this thing's a tank. It's a beast. It's heavy. Look how thick that blade stock is. But I had to have it. I'm going to modify it, I think. But there's no reason to get rid of it. I love the design. It can be carried as a heavy user, so it stays. The Koenig Arius. If you're on any social media platform that has knife groups or anything like that, or Instagram, and you have a pulse, you've probably seen one of these or seen a lot of them. Koenig is a small company out of Idaho. I think they have 6 employees or so, and it's a production knife, but it's exquisite. Fit and finish. Arguably one of the best actions that you can get right now. Yeah. This is definitely the pinnacle of my current knife collection. And it's not going anywhere because it kicks butt. Let's try to Spidey flick it. Okay, there we go. I have a hard time keeping my fingers off the lock bar, which is why I inherently suck at Spidey flicking, unless I'm really paying attention. I push on the lock bar. So anyway, flipper, thumb stud, or thumb hole. This is a CTS 204P. It's one of the earlier models. The new ones all come in CTS XHP. For blade steel, titanium frame lock. It's got that cool backspacer lanyard hole combo. It's got that cool window in the pocket clip there. These are insane knives, guys. Beautiful, stellar function, and I might have to get more if I could afford it. Anyway, that's the Koenig Arius. The badass Berg Blades Iron Wolf. This was actually a Christmas gift, and it's huge. I did a review consensus on it last week after carrying it for a week. Flipper on bearings, S35 VN in this awesome stonewash. It's a bolster lock. This one has green canvas micarta, and I love it. It's a total beast. Bergblades.com. This is also a small production run that was produced by We Knives for Berg Blades. And and it's a fantastic knife. Just like the Nemily Cleaver, the fit and finish, the action, the quality, just the work that We Knives is doing in manufacturing is, I mean, it's pretty much top notch. So, super happy with this one. Berg Blades, Iron Wolf. Oh, I can't forget this. Another ridiculous thing. And that's the original Something Obscene Company fixed blade Nemily production cleaver. Also limited. This one's 56 out of 100. And I swore off of large fixed blades, but I had to have this. It came out in 2016, and I passed up the opportunity to get it because in my state of Connecticut, it's illegal to carry anything that's over 4 inches in length or anything that has knuckle dusters. So I passed on it, and 2 years later, I realized after getting the Nemily 2.0 that I needed the original. It's basically just a piece of art that I can play around with. I can't carry it. I can't really use it outside of the house. Wish I could, but I can't. But I wanted it for my collection, and I managed to track one down. It was super hard to find. Actually, Felix from Something Obscene Company was the one who ended up finding me one of these. Because like I said, they're limited to 100 pieces in satin and 100 in black. And I wanted the satin. I looked for weeks and weeks and weeks and couldn't find one. And then Felix came to the rescue and somehow managed to source one for me. This one's 56 out of 100. Just a beastly little guy. Jimping. Everything's chamfered. So, cool knife. Little piece of functional art. So, I think that's all of them, right? 13, I think. 13 knives that survived 2018. And, oh, one knife came in on New Year's Eve, and I didn't even realize it was in the mailbox until the next night. Yeah, that's my fault. The first time I ever decided to not completely stalk out USPS and check the tracking number, refresh it every, 2 hours. The first time I ever decided to just sit back and wait for the ETA, a knife comes in early. And that's the Giant Mouse GM1. The original mouse. Titanium frame lock, N690 steel. Titanium backspacer, pocket clip, blue accents, just like the GM5. This is the original knife from Giant Mouse. There goes my Spidey flick. Okay, there we go. So the GM1 is it's a flipper, as well as thumb hole opening. And if you notice, it kind of looks a lot like the Biblio, or the Biblio actually looks a lot like the GM1. I had to have this knife. I wanted it all year, well, ever since I got the GM5. And again, limited to 300 units. This is number 47. It's not always easy to find one that's in good shape. And last week I did. It's got this big pronounced flipper, which you can light switch, but you can also push button it. And this is probably the most comfortable push button flipper I've ever handled. Even though this flipper is gigantic, it's super smoothed out, and for some reason you just push it straight in and it rockets out. So, titanium frame lock, N690 steel. This also rides on bearings. And it runs like butter. Awesome knife. I see myself keeping this forever, as it is the original giant mouse knife. And after owning 4 now that are all stellar in my experience, why would I ever get rid of the first one, right? This thing's crazy. I love it. Anyway, so guys, these are my 14 knives that I picked up in 2018. The 14 that stayed. I think 5 or 6 knives were traded or sold or what have you. Let's see what 2019 brings. I have a couple knives on the way in and a few on my radar, but you know, anything could happen. I'm still new, super new on YouTube. I think my channel's only been out for a month. I've only been on Instagram for 3 months, but I'm striving to keep this new and exciting and get my hands on new knives, old knives. You know, I don't want to pigeonhole myself as a reviewer, because I'm just sharing, you know, what I find when I get new knives in. I don't have knives sent to me. Everything here, everything on my channel is stuff that I've purchased. And I'm just sharing the hobby. I also have mod videos on my channel where I show you how to acid etch, stone wash. Gonna have one for anodizing using a blowtorch soon. I don't know. New stuff. That's what 2019 is all about. Gonna be doing new stuff. And stick around. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Casual Cutter. If you like this video, or if you have nothing better to do, hit the like button. Comment with any questions about any of these knives. Any feedback you have, any first-hand experiences you have with any of these. I'd love to hear it. And guys, here's to 2019. Can't wait to see what happens. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Casual Cutter out. I'll catch you on the next one.